What's up, man? You guys want to give it a shot? All right, let's do it. Two very easy multiple choice questions. So let's see if you guys get it. So here's the first one. So here I have 3 box trucks. They're completely sealed. They're all on a level surface, and they all have an apple hanging from a string. The only difference between these 3 box trucks is that one is at rest, one is accelerating forward, and one is accelerating in reverse. So out of these 3, which one is at rest? B? Yeah, you got it. Why would you say B?
Because it's at rest.
It's at rest. Exactly. It's not swinging. Exactly. Which one's accelerating forward?
A.
A? Would you agree?
No.
No?
What
truck is accelerating forward?
Which truck is accelerating forward?
Truck.
Oh, A, yes.
Yeah, so truck is accelerating
yeah,
forward.
sorry.
No worries. Okay, so how do you guys know A is accelerating forward?
Because when you go forward, it's going to make the apples back.
Exactly. Yeah. Look, and I have an example here. So this ball represents the apple because it's swinging. So if I accelerate, it swings. It appears to swing back, but it's the container that's moving towards it.
Yes.
You got it. Perfect. And it's due to inertia, too.
It
remains in its position. All right, second one. Pretty similar, but instead of an apple, it's a helium balloon inside the cargo van, the cargo truck. So out of these 3, which one is at rest?
B.
Okay, yes, and it's for the exact same reason as the first, because there's no motion.
Yeah.
Which one's accelerating forward?
A.
I think it's A again.
Okay, dude, I'm gonna help you guys out with this one a little bit. So this is a buoyant object. So this is floating in water, just like the balloon is floating inside this truck. So this represents that. Now I'm gonna accelerate it, and I want you to pay attention what happens to the ball, right? Okay, right? So going back to this question, which one's accelerating forward?
C.
It is C. Do you guys know why C is accelerating forward though? There's 2 reasons why, this happens.
No idea.
No idea. So the 2 reasons is, the first reason is air is more dense than helium, right? That's obvious. The second reason is the force. So depending on the direction of the force, that's going to determine the direction the balloon goes. So when I apply a force in this direction, all of the air that's inside the truck as well is being pushed in that same direction through space. And because air is more dense than helium, is able to push it along with it. So a helium balloon will always react in the same direction as force.
Right.
So that's reality. So here, let me show you this example I did.
I don't know if a 5th grader is getting that.
Oh, once I show the demonstrations, they get it. I've done a couple 6th graders and they got it right. So I did an experiment myself, and it's basically both questions in one. So I want to see if you guys can get it. Okay. So I put a helium balloon inside a cargo van and an apple. So did I accelerate to the right, to the left, or is it at rest?
Oh, shit. That's it.
That's crazy.
All right.
Yeah.
So what direction did I accelerate?
You accelerated forwards.
Yes, because that's the direction the balloon got pushed. So here's the bonus question. It looks, when you're inside the cargo van, it looks like there's 2 motions, one of the helium balloon and one of the apple. It looks like they're moving away from each other, right? But in reality, only one has true motion and the other one has apparent motion. So out of the apple and the helium balloon, which one has true motion?
I think the apple has true motion and the balloon...
I think the balloon has true motion.
Yes. Why do you think the balloon has true motion?
Because the balloon's moving
through space. Yes, it's being pushed, being left behind.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the apple has apparent motion. You got it. Perfect. You got the bonus one. So here's one last question before you guys go. If I have a helium balloon here on Earth and I release it, what direction does it go?
It goes...
Helium balloon, you have it here on Earth.
And you release it. It goes up, yes. Yeah. So there's 2 reasons why it goes up. Why do you guys think?
Because air is denser than
helium. That's the first reason.
Okay.
So what's the second reason? Because the second reason has to do with why it goes up. Why not left and why not right and why not down?
Because it has something to do with gravity.
It does. Okay. So here's the thing. So so the gravity of the Earth, I know we've been told that it's a pulling force of the Earth. Yeah. But I don't know if you guys knew, pulling force of gravity is only a theory because it has never been proven or measured or detected. Okay. So the fact is the force of the Earth is a push. So right now we're not being pulled towards the Earth.
Being pushed down?
No. We're being pushed up. So the Earth is literally pushing up against you right now, and that upwards push is what's pushing up the air, and that's how the helium balloons go up. So so when you release a helium balloon and an apple, the helium balloon and the Earth and the air have true motion, and the apple only has apparent motion down. So that's why gravity as a pulling force doesn't exist, and it's just a theory because objects don't accelerate down to the Earth. So the fact is, when you release an object into free fall, the object doesn't move down to the Earth, it's the Earth that moves up to the object. So that's the reality. So here, here's the real reason why I'm doing this. You guys believe the Earth is a ball, right?
Yes.
You guys understand that on a ball, up is relative. So if
Yes.
you're standing
Yeah,
here, up
yeah,
is this way, and if you're
Yes.
standing, okay, up is in every direction away from the
Yeah.
center. If we could prove physically that the Earth is actually pushing up on us and not pulling us down, and physics shows us that buoyancy, how can the Earth push up in every direction at the same time if it was a ball?
Because it's spinning so fast? Is that?
Well, that would make things go away, push things off because
Yeah.
of the centrifugal force. So, how would it push up though? Because if it's spinning this way, it's not pushing in any direction through space. So the answer is it would have to be expanding. So the Earth would have to be expanding to be able to push up in every direction at the
Is
same
it
time.
expanding?
Here's the reality. The fact is it's not expanding because the Earth would just explode, right? It
Okay.
wouldn't work. So in order for people to believe in the ball Earth theory, they first have to believe in gravity being a pull of the Earth. Because if we could prove that it's actually a push of the Earth, the entire whole globe Earth concept falls apart. So the fact is we live on a level plane that's pushing up in one direction.
So it's not.
It's not a ball.
You're saying the Earth is not at all.
It's not a ball. It's a level extended plane. So that's the reality. So the upwards push of the Earth shows that the Earth is only moving up in one direction.
Wait, but you said that up is relative.
If you believe you're on a ball.
Then how would you explain the curvature of the Earth,
Of the Earth,
over
okay.
a long period?
You're talking about like the
Over
horizon, right?
distance.
Yeah, the
Over
horizon.
distance,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So when you go out to the beach, for example, and you observe
Yes.
the horizon and you
Yes.
observe a boat appearing to disappear over the curve,
Yes.
what happens there is we do have a limit of perspective. So we do have a limit to how far we can see. So
Yeah.
when a boat goes out of view, it's not
Yeah.
going over a curve. It's simply just going out of your field of view.
But like, if I'm viewing a boat,
Yes.
I've seen one go
Yes.
out of my perspective. It's
Yes.
not that my eyes are not able to distinguish the boat going over the horizon. It's the fact that the boat is, like, I can see the first half of the boat, but I can't see the second.
So
half.
the bottom disappears
So you're
first.
saying
Yeah.
that it's my eyes are only seeing the first half of my boat, but my
So
eyes
due
are
to
not seeing the
perspective,
second.
here I'll show you a graph that it'll kind of like show you it's right here somewhere. A lot of slides right here. But here we go. So perspective, we'll show you this. Okay, there it is. So when we're looking long distances, we know
Yeah.
these train tracks, we know that they're parallel, right?
Yeah.
But it looks like they're converging, right?
Okay.
Because we have spherical eyes, we do have spherical vision. So even hallways, everything converges to a point, right? So here's a graph of how that works. So this arc represents our eyeball, right? If we're observing something above our head or even below us, the further it moves out at the same height, the lower it appears to get in our field of view, right? The further it goes out, that line gets lower in our field of view until eventually it reaches the eye line, which is our limit of perspective, and people call that the horizon. So the horizon is only apparent because when a boat appears to disappear over a curve,
Yeah.
we bring out a powerful zoom camera and we could pop the bottom of that boat back into view. So proving that it's perspective, not a curve.
Where's the edge of the?
Okay, so the
where
edge
do
of
you
the Earth.
distinguish
So
the edge of the Earth
yeah.
then?
So here's the thing: the whole
People
edge
go-
of the Earth thing, in my
go
opinion,
around.
yeah, it's misrepresentation because we experience air pressure here on Earth, right? It's 14.7 at sea level allegedly. So in order to maintain air pressure, you require solid containment. So that's how you maintain air pressure in the car and your tire. So the Earth, in my opinion, is physically contained. So nobody's been to outer space. So outer space is just a concept as well, and it's just there to reinforce the globe Earth as well. Because physics here on Earth proves that the globe Earth is physically impossible. So
Didn't they just like go into space and take a photo of Earth?
yeah. So photos of Earth here. I'll show you a couple of images I have here. So these are official NASA images
Yes.
from 2002
Wouldn't you
and
see-
2012.
Wouldn't
Yes.
you see every continent in that photo if Earth was
So here's the thing.
that way?
They admit these are all composites. So these are all
Exactly.
Photoshop.
Oh, okay.
They're not real. They admit it. So they say that they can't go high enough to take a full picture of the Earth, even though they claim to have done it in 1972 when they went to the moon. But now they're saying they can't do it anymore.
What do you mean? What do you mean they can't?
They say they can't go high enough. That's what they say. They can't leave low Earth orbit. Low Earth orbit. That's what they say. That's why astronauts haven't gone to the moon again.
Well, even if you did go high enough and you took a photo of Earth, if it was
Yeah.
a sphere or whatever,
Yeah.
spheroid,
Yeah.
you wouldn't, even if you were high enough, you wouldn't still be able to get a photo of
So
everything, because if you're looking at one side of the sphere, you would still see
exactly.
a picture
So
of
everything
that.
they're showing us from outer space like this, that shows the Earth like this, they're all
Okay.
cartoons. The reality is the highest we've ever gone up is between 25 to 30 miles, and this is what the Earth
about
looks
the-
like.
what about-
Nobody's
what-
been higher than like 30 miles.
What about the rocket that just moving up.
Yeah, so these rockets that they're claiming they're shooting up to space, first of all, if you pay attention to these rockets, first of all, again, you know, there's nobody in these rockets, first of all, you know, but that's a different topic. But second, these rockets don't go straight up. They start making a curve right away, and they claim that they're going around the Earth, right?
You wouldn't need to go straight up though if Earth was a sphere, because you could just go and exit the orbit of the exit the atmosphere, and then you would just get back into orbit.
So they claiming they're going around the Earth's curve, and then the rocket disappears from eye view, and then they switch to CGI, in my opinion, after. Once the naked eye can't see the rocket anymore, because there's people that obviously observe the rocket take off, but once the rocket is not visible to your eye anymore, that's when they switch to CGI and claim to go to outer space, which they actually don't. So here, let me ask you guys this, because if the Earth has curvature, we should be able to physically measure it somehow. Would you agree or disagree?
We can measure it.
Well, how do we measure it?
I've seen multiple experiments of this.
Sure.
You set up platforms of the same level.
Yes.
And you can get a laser through long periods of time. And if you shoot one on the level, the laser will not be directly straight. It'll be a little bit lower, and the
laser will be above, because technically that's what they're claiming, that the Earth is curving down, right?
It'll be above. So the distance between where the laser starts and
where it ends,
the distance where it ends would be the curvature.
It shows the curvature. Okay, so here's the thing. The reason, so I have a better experiment than that. So first of all, when you shine a laser through water, could we say that the laser goes straight or not?
Well, the water refracts.
Exactly. Did you know that the air has moisture? It's pretty much like water. It's a fluid. So there's going to be refraction when you shine a laser through the air. So it's going to be an inconclusive test every time.
But air does not refract light to the same extent that
I would agree,
refracts.
but it still does.
It does, but
here's the thing though.
I feel like the moisture in the air is not significant enough to refract light into a beat. Like the light is not being refracted down or up.
When we're measuring distance like miles, then it's gonna happen regardless, especially when we're measuring miles. Okay, but here's the thing though. If we're gonna measure for the curvature of the Earth, we want to know how much we have to be measuring. Do you guys know the radius of the Earth?
I don't.
You guys know? Okay, here, let me show you guys real quick. Okay. So the radius of the Earth that we're told is 3,959 miles.
Wouldn't the Earth have to be a... Okay.
Yeah, this is allegedly what they claim the Earth is. Because they supposedly have satellites orbiting the Earth, so they need to know this radius of orbit. So they need to know the radius of it. So based on the radius of the Earth, using a simple calculation like the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, I mean, anyone knows this equation. You can calculate for how much curvature there should be every mile based on the radius. So it turns out it should be 8 inches per mile squared. What that means, in the first mile, it should be an 8-inch curve. Second mile, 32 inches, and by the third mile, there should be 6 feet of curvature. Okay. And in 10 miles, there should be 66 feet, which is like a 6-story building, right? That's a lot of curvature in 10 miles. So how do we measure for that curve? I'll tell you a better way. If we went out to a giant lake that was 3 miles across, for example, and we build a level structure above the body of water, the water, when it's at rest, is going to be parallel to anything horizontal above it, because when water is containing at rest, the surface always collapses to form an equal surface, which is level. That's what water level means. Okay. So they're trying to tell us that the surface of every lake is bending 8 inches per mile squared, but if we actually build a level structure over a body of water, it's going to show...
Doesn't that not account for like the topography of like the terrain? Like you can't just, like, there's mountains, obviously. Like if you go and you're measuring the curvature of the Earth, and if you're walking across Earth and you reach Mount Everest, obviously you're not going to account for the altitude of the mountain in terms of the curvature.
That's why we're not measuring the Earth, we're measuring water, the surface of water, because the Earth is covered in water. So the oceans, for example, the term sea level comes from the oceans being horizontal. So the oceans are horizontal, not because water doesn't have the ability to maintain shapes on the surface. So if you have a pool, you cannot make that pool maintain a shape on the surface. Water doesn't have the ability to do that. Is the physics of water debunked?
Maintain a shape, as in like...
Yeah, maintain a hump. Yeah, because if you believe the Earth is a globe, then every lake on Earth has to have a hump in the middle.
So wouldn't gravity keep the...
But now you're going to a theory now of a pulling force, when the fact is a push.
But isn't the push a theory as well?
No. Have you heard of the normal force of the Earth? You should look it up. So it's acknowledged even in the mainstream. But they invoke this pulling force of gravity because they want to lie to the masses. But they acknowledge the upward push of the Earth, because buoyancy is a push, 100%. So when you have a ball like right here that's pushing up in water, the ball's not pushing itself. The water's pushing it, but the water's not pushing itself to push the ball.
Isn't that like...
So it's all connection from the
Newton's law, where like...
Yes.
If you're going down in one force, the force is equal and opposite reaction. So it's pushing up against the force pushing down is pushing you against. So it's not just a push pushing you up, but it's a going down also pushing up.
Yeah, so here's what they did. So they're claiming that gravity is the flow of something in the background that's pulling everything down, and the Earth is resisting us, right? And that's why we have weight. The reality is the other way around. It's the Earth pushing up against us, and then we have inertia. So there's something resisting our mass from moving. So there is a background medium, in my opinion, or something that's causing our inertia, and that's why we have weight. Because it's the Earth moving up, and then our body has inertia. And,
All right. Well, wow. This is very.
What's stopping this from just flying up?
Flying up?
Yeah.
The air is not dense enough to push it up like a helium balloon. So like this, the air is not dense enough to push this ball like it does like this one. So it just gets left behind.
Okay, but I feel like things.
So that's being left behind because everything else is moving up.
Things that are less dense than air still don't just float. Like there's like materials like what's it called, like aerogel or whatever that they've designed that is like 99.99 something percent air, and it doesn't just float up.
Well, that 0.1% I would say is enough to keep it down, because you're saying it's mostly air, but then it still has a small percent that it's not air.
So you're saying that anything that is less dense
than air will go up. That's why fire rises.
I don't think that that's because that there's. That's just probably because it's less dense. But like, how does that prove that the gravity is pushing up instead of it's just less dense?
Yeah. So if you submerge like a beach ball, for example, underneath the pool, would we agree that we'll feel a tremendous amount of upwards push? Like we'll feel an upwards push if we try to submerge a beach ball underneath the pool, right? Because there's an upwards push there. Could we agree on that?
Well, it's displacing. It's like displacement. It's like if you're...
No, but we could put a rock or a bowling ball, and it's not going to push up. It's going to displace the water, but it's going to go down. A bowling ball.
Yes, because it's dense.
A beach ball will displace the water, but it's being pushed up.
It's heavy, yeah.
Yeah, so here's the thing. If we were to elevate a pool, and it's not connected to the Earth anymore, right? And then we put that pool into free fall, and you try to submerge that beach ball inside the pool while it's in free fall, it's not going to feel that upwards push anymore for the Earth because it's not connected to the Earth anymore. So buoyancy is an effect
because it's experiencing a different kind of motion. Like,
well, you think that it's accelerating down, right?
Well, that's,
in free fall.
Isn't gravity just like immense acceleration? Like if you're falling in an elevator, like I've seen this. If you're in an elevator and they cut the wire and the elevator shoots down super quick, you're going to experience less and less of the pull because the acceleration of the elevator downwards is counteracting the gravity that's pulling you down. So you're gonna feel a little bit more weightless. Is that not?
Yeah, you do feel weightless in free fall, and that's because you have no forces acting on you.
Exactly. Gravity. It's counteracting the gravity that is pushing. If you're falling down, is that not counteracting the gravity that is pulling you down? So if you're accelerating, you would feel more weightless because that's counteracting the pull.
I see what you're trying to get to, but here's the thing. Look, you believe objects accelerate down in free fall, obviously, right? So here's the thing. I did an experiment. So everybody's cell phone, everyone's smartphone, has a built-in accelerometer. So what that does is, you know how you could change your phone to portrait and landscape, and it switches based on because it detects the Earth's force. So I did an experiment with the built-in accelerometer because when you download an acceleration app, you're able to see, when you have the phone at rest and you accelerate it from being at rest in any direction, there's an increase in force. But in free fall, something different happens. But here, I'll show you guys real quick.
Well, if you're in free fall and you're accelerating at a constant speed, you're not accelerating. No, you're just moved like.
But that's the thing.
Acceleration is acceleration is not the same as speed. Acceleration is
increasing your speed.
If you're free falling, and say you're free falling from a high point, depending on my weight, I'm going to reach terminal velocity. I'm not going to accelerate. Yes. I'm not going to accelerate anymore. I'm going to reach a steady speed of
free fall. So this is a minute long, and again, I did it using an app in my cell phone, and anyone could do this.
Okay.
The heliocentrism is a device that detects the presence of a force or acceleration. For example, when at rest and connected to the Earth, it detects 1 g-force. As soon as I accelerate it from being at rest, the accelerometer detects that acceleration by increasing the g-force. Whether I accelerate it to the right, to the left, up, or down, the accelerometer will always detect the acceleration 100% of the time. However, the instant I put the accelerometer into freefall, it detects a deceleration. It goes from 1g down to 0. If the accelerometer was accelerating down free fall, it would detect that acceleration by increasing from 1g, not decreasing. Not only does
It
the
was increasing,
accelerometer show that there's no detectable
No, the
acceleration,
instant I let it go, it went to 0 instantly. And the reason why you see a little bit of reading after that is because the air's trying to push it up as it falls down. But here, look, this is half of the video. It's
it
almost
also
done.
shows that the vector or force of the Earth is up. When I switch to the vector tab of
Oh my God, where's the next one?
accelerometer, we can see when at rest on
Let me see. Let me
Earth,
take
it
this
detects
freaking.
So how does if gravity is pushing up, how does, like, we're taught that in
Yes.
like orbits and solar systems, like our gravity pulls things, our Earth's gravity pulls
Yes.
things closer to it. So how would you explain things staying in orbit? Like the sun in
Yeah.
the center of the solar system
Yeah.
has a massive gravitational field. It keeps everything in orbit. It
Yeah.
prevents things from just floating away.
So,
how does that happen?
so this,
If it's pushing, then
Yeah.
why don't our solar system, why isn't it just like, why aren't we flying out into space?
Yeah, so you believe in the heliocentric model of the universe, right?
Yes.
So the fact is, the Earth, we don't live in a heliocentric model. We live in a
Okay.
geocentric. So like I said, outer space is just a concept that only exists on paper. So they have equations to explain
What
how
about the sun?
the sun is real, obviously it's there, but nobody knows exactly what it is. Like they're claiming that it's like gas, you know,
Yeah.
but nobody
So
knows.
What do you mean? So
I-
what else would it be?
I have no clue.
Isn't it just a ball of? It's like a
I don't even-
nuclear reactor in the sky, a ball of gases. And
Sure, that's what they tell us, but I don't believe that. The fact is, nobody knows exactly what it is. We just have assumptions. But at the end of the day, looking at the sun tells us nothing about the shape of the Earth physically.
it doesn't tell us about the shape, but it tells us about like the what's it called? Like the forces that are keeping. Like why isn't Earth just floating off into space? Then? Why is the sun? I mean, we can literally measure the distance between the Earth and the sun. If the Earth is pushing, or the sun's gravitational push, in this case, if you're saying that, is stronger than the Earth's, why wouldn't the sun just be pushing the Earth away, like into wherever you believe?
Well, you believe that. I will ask you, in your model, why doesn't the sun pull the Earth into it and burn it?
Because
Because the sun's obviously way bigger than the Earth in your model, right?
it's so far away. I mean, I think it is going closer, but I think it's so far away that, like, all the gravity. I mean, I'm not an expert in
So the way I
space,
see it, in
but I
my
think all the gravity, like, we have different planets in our solar system.
Yeah.
Like, they're so far away, the gravitational pull decreases over. Like, we're really, really far away from the sun. The sun's.
fair enough. I mean, I don't know the exact distance to the sun,
I mean,
but
someone probably does.
so here's the thing: they claim it's 93 million miles away.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
what they
there we
claim.
go, okay,
but
yeah.
they started off when they first claimed it was 1 million, and then little by little they've just been tweaking it. That was back in the 80 in the late 1800s, early
Yeah,
1900s.
we can. I mean, I can probably buy a telescope from
But yeah, but
Target that can tell me how far away the sun is.
But we're going off topic again because
Okay.
talking about the sun and the moon and the lights,
Yes,
it's a red
yes.
herring when it comes to the physical dimensions of the Earth and the physical geometry of the Earth.
I
Right?
mean, we can take a photo of like Jupiter and see that it's a sphere.
I would say you're assuming it's a sphere.
I mean, if you buy, I mean, I have friends that have like big telescopes. You can take a photo of like Saturn and see Saturn's ring and see the thing. Like, why would we assume that Saturn is just like a sphere with a ring and Earth is just like a flat?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know exactly what the planets and the stars are,
Okay.
but to make assumptions about these lights in the sky
Yes.
to try and prove something physical here on Earth, I think that's illogical. Because you're making an assumption to make your point, to
I mean,
prove a
wouldn't-
point,
isn't-
which is not.
What would be more illogical, though, looking at every other planet in the solar system with my own eyes
Yes.
and observing their shape, and then assuming that Earth's is different, or assuming that, okay, everything else looks like that, maybe Earth is the same. I feel like that would be more logical than assuming that Earth is a different shape than every other planet.
Well,
So-
I would say the Earth is 100% unique. So there's no other
why?
place like it. Well, in my opinion, it's because it was created. The Earth is a creation, 100%.
from like God or something.
I don't know. So religions,
From a thing.
from a higher power, you can say. I don't believe in any religion because religions are just there to control people. I acknowledge that this is a creation because that's what
Yeah.
physics shows me. But other than that, I don't buy into any religion. So the heliocentric model, ironically, is the biggest religion on earth. And I'm going to tell you why. Number one, because it's based on faith. And number two, because it gives you a creation story and a purpose here in life.
Why is it based off of faith?
Because you have to believe in the Big Bang and evolution. None of that has been proven.
You don't have to believe in the Big Bang to order a telescope on Amazon and point it to Jupiter and say Jupiter's a sphere.
Even if it was a sphere, which I don't think it is, I think it's just a light. I don't know what it is three-dimensionally.
Okay.
But you think that you can actually stand on some of these lights in the sky, right? Like Mars. You can physically stand on it, right?
I mean, no.
No.
Yes,
Let's say theoretically, like if you had like the equipment,
yes.
you could
we've
physically stand.
We've sent robots onto these things.
Okay. Could you stand on a rainbow?
Well, a rainbow is not the same as Mars. A rainbow is light refracting through air. Mars is rock.
Well, here's what
I can stand on rock more than I can stand on a flashlight.
Yeah. So these are images, close-ups of the stars, and these are image close-ups of the planets, right? So this is what NASA shows us Mars looks like with their cartoon telescopes.
Okay.
This is what Mars actually looks like in reality.
Yeah, but NASA's telescope compared to a Nikon P900 is like a toy airplane compared to a Boeing 747.
Fair enough. But here's the thing. I shouldn't be able to zoom in to these lights, for example, all these stars, if these stars are supposedly way further away than the planets. And I'm able to bring them into focus with the same zoom. That shouldn't be possible because they say the planets are within our solar system, right? But the stars are light years away. There are other suns that are way further light years away.
But they're light.
But I'm able to bring them both back into focus. Planets and stars.
Stars are different than planets. Stars are big, like the sun.
Yes.
Big ball of gas. It's a nuclear reactor in the sky, like burning super bright.
Yeah.
That's obviously going to be significantly brighter than rock.
So here's the thing. I don't know if you knew, but you can look this up. The planets used to be called stars back in the day. So the word planet comes from wandering star. Okay. So they're no different than the stars. The only difference that they are is they have their own unique.
Called the same back in the day does not mean that they are.
No, my point is that people acknowledge that they were pretty much in the same distance from us, and the only difference between them is that the planets have their own unique path. They're not fixed with the rest of the stars. That's the only difference. You think that they're like, so the planets, they don't rotate fixed with the rest of the stars. The rest of the stars have constellations, so they all rotate together.
Half of the stars are not in our solar system.
So the planets just have their own unique path. But again, we're going off topic because none of this proves the shape of the Earth. You're assuming that this is a real image, and because and let's say I gave you that. Let's say this was a real image.
Yes.
This is your proof that the Earth is a globe.
Well, if I don't know how many planets are in the solar system.
Okay, that's another assumption that you've been told.
Okay.
Because basically,
if I have here, let me pull this up. I have a friend who I know is not doctoring images, who I went to high school with, who has a good telescope.
But he's not an astronaut, though.
He's not an astronaut, but I mean, you're not an astronaut.
Sure.
If he's taking a photo of, let's see, he can take photos of the Milky Way. These are crazy photos that he can take.
Okay. That looks like a cartoon to me, but
I mean, it looks like a cartoon to me, but I mean, he knows better than both of us, I would assume. If he can take a photo of the moon.
Okay, yeah, sure.
And he can take photos.
I will admit, the moon does look solid. It does look solid. I agree. But just because it looks solid, I'm not going to make an assumption that it is solid and also a sphere, and assume that the Earth is a globe based on those assumptions.
I agree, but
that doesn't make sense.
But I feel like at that point you need to compile. I think it's easier if you use all the information given to us to assume, okay, we won't go into the moon landing, but we can shoot lasers to the moon that bounce off, and we can tell, okay, this is not just like a hologram. This is this far away. We can measure the actual distance. We can fly by it on spaceships that are recorded throughout the whole flight. Like the SpaceX ships they have cameras on them, the whole thing. They live stream them. What would be the point of sending all these rockets up to the moon and faking all of them? Like, what's the point of that?
The point of that is because the globe Earth concept doesn't have nothing physically. So everything that has to do with real science, natural science, debunks the globe Earth. So they have to go into these abstract things, like going to the moon, for example, and all these CGI images they show us, because the globe Earth has nothing
Elon
physically.
Musk has no skin in the game of the mass propaganda for the world. Like, he's a private. Sure, the government could send up people to the moon and fake it for, like, to try and calm the masses about the Earth, but, like, we have now billionaires that are privately funded companies that purely are going up because they want to have billionaire clubs on the moon or whatever. I don't know why they go up, but still, like, if they're going up for their own reasons. They're not going up to fake images and try and distract the masses. These guys don't give a shit about distracting the masses.
Well, first of all, Elon Musk, I don't know if you knew, he does get a lot of grants, government grants.
Okay, what about Richard Branson? He's just like an eccentric billionaire that parties on an island.
He took an airplane, right, to the edge of space, right?
Yeah.
I would say he just took an airplane, flew it really high, and that's it. They used
Katy Perry went on a rocket.
Here, let me show you. So the only place you're ever going to see curvature of the Earth, you guys are familiar with GoPro wide-angle lens, so the fisheye lens, it warps horizontal lines. So when somebody's high altitude and they record the horizon curved, is because they're using an action camera.
Yeah, but if you go high, I mean, I don't know how high this is probably like a paraglider.
This is 20.
He goes higher.
This is 20 miles.
Yeah, but the Earth is huge.
And this is without a GoPro lens.
The Earth is massive.
And that's why you can't take a picture of the entire Earth, because we can't go high enough.
There's no way that these are not doctored, because these are corrected, you're saying?
There's videos of these balloons going up, because these are giant helium balloons that people send up.
But you're saying this has been corrected to correct the curvature?
No, they use standard lenses from the start. So they use like a cell phone camera that's standard. It doesn't have a fisheye lens.
Do you think that they're not
they're
going
like 12-hour long
videos
if you guys want to watch them when the balloon goes up. They're really long because it takes a while for the balloon to reach this height.
What's the point of lying about the Earth being flat, you're saying?
So you guys are jumping to the motive, where you guys haven't even looked at the crime. So the motive of the crime is...
Why it's a crime?
Well, first of all, if I tell you the why is a crime, when you haven't even looked at the crime, you just...
What is your hypothesis?
My hypothesis is that the Earth is not a globe. The Earth is not flat.
What do you guys think about the moon?
I think it's a sphere that's like rock.
Why do you think?
How does it get its light?
How does it get its light? What do you mean?
When the moon
the sun shines, light bounces off of different surfaces.
Okay, you ever heard of a solar eclipse?
Yes.
How does it black out the sun then?
Because it moves in front of it.
But if it's in the luminary, it would shine through it.
No, it wouldn't, because it's rock. So like if I have a flashlight,
what do you think about that?
No.
If I have a flashlight that's shining light like this, and I have a rock, and I move the rock in front of it, the light is going to go around the rock. It's not going to go through.
But if it's away from the sun, it'll shine through it. That makes no sense.
What do you mean? It doesn't shine through it.
This is an observation that debunks.
The sun never shines through the moon. It can hit the moon, and the light can bounce off the moon. That's how we see. That's how we see things.
No,
our
outer space is all the concept.
Light bounces off of everything.
The Earth is a system,
surface,
and
it goes into my eyes, and that's how I see. That's how our eyes work.
The stars,
so
it's all part of the
sun.
So the sun and the moon
hits
are
the
very
moon, the
small
light
compared
and
to
bounces off.
They're
It goes into my eyes.
So nobody's been outside of the Earth, because the Earth is contained, in my opinion. So we're inside of it.
So solar eclipse is. That's why it's rare, because it's the timing.
The Bible talks about a dome. I don't make any claims that I don't know.
Perfect point from the sun.
No. So the dome, in my opinion, is 100% more probable than obviously a globe Earth.
Even during a solar eclipse,
but I don't know what the container looks like.
Of the sun.
For all we know, it could be like a pyramid shape.
So it never goes through.
Gravity and all that.
That's what
so gravity is a push.
How does it get lit up when it's away
physically
from
prove that.
What do you
so
mean
the Earth is pushing up against it. It's not
saying
down.
the moon is a rock receiving light from the sun.
Yeah, the normal force. Exactly. That's the only
so
force
if
that
it was
exists.
a rock receiving light from the sun, it would shine through it.
So here,
shine through it.
No, so here's how easily you debunk the moon being solid.
Okay.
You can look this up. People have taken photographs of stars through the moon. So when you have the moon during daylight, some people have photographed stars behind the moon, like through the crescent part. So the flag of Turkey, you know how they have a star around the moon? That is a symbol of these observations. So that proves that the moon is not solid. No. They're just no. I'm saying the observation. It's a symbolism.
That symbol is way older than the country of Turkey.
Yeah, my point is that symbol of the star being. There's a lot of images and proof that there's stars being photographed through the moon. Put it that way.
Now, have you ever
see
the sun shining out and how it has rays around it?
Yeah.
So what about, you ever see it when it comes up or goes down, like right before the sunset? It's a perfect sphere. It doesn't have any rays. Why is that? Like the moon. You know when you see the moon fully lit up on a full moon? It's perfectly round and there's no rays around it. When the sun goes down, the same thing happens if you look at the sun.
What do you mean the moon has no rays around it?
Yeah, like right now when you look at it,
Right now when you look at it,
has
there's
light,
rays.
like rays going out of it.
But when
it's
the
by
sun
the
goes
horizon,
down, when it's at the horizon, it's a perfect circle, just like the moon.
yeah,
is
you
when
could
it's
see like
fully
the
lit.
outer circumference of the circle.
Okay. Yes, but what does that prove?
Yeah, I know. What does that prove?
What I'm saying is, I don't think the world has a real understanding of the sun and the moon
Yes.
and these elements,
Yes.
and that's why he's bringing up these type of.
I would
questions.
argue that we don't have an understanding, but I'm saying if we went into campus and we brought some sort of physics professor to come out here, I guarantee you he would be able to explain why there are rays on the sun and not during
Is an
sunset.
explanation of something proof of something?
Yes.
Yes, so I can explain to you how Superman flies.
No.
Does that mean
An explanation itself is not the proof of something?
Exactly.
But an explanation with data and evidence to back it up is.
What if that
So you
data and
have-
evidence is not rooted in nothing physical and it's just theories?
Then it's not. But if say you bring together a group of 100 science professionals that all have experience, like the scientific process, you have to have multiple different people that come in and review work, review everything. It's not like they're making it up. If you have a group of 100 scientists that telling you one thing that have studied their entire life, I do not study the sun, and I don't know why there are rays right now of the sun, why there's not. But I think that the odds of them being correct are significantly higher than me doing my own research online and
So how did
having
they
my
get
own
to their
evidence.
conclusion? They were doing their own research.
Exactly. But all that research is publicly available. You can go, it's not like they're hiding all their research from people. I think it's, if you go online, you can read thousands and thousands of pages of scientists that do these experiments with like real technology. This is all documented by not just the government and privately funded organizations, by like educational systems of people that have no motives behind it, just for the cause.
I mean, all of these
just
people
for
are being paid,
curiosity.
though, so there is some kind of motive. It could be an
they're
alternative
being
motive.
paid, but not from people that have the backing. They're being paid from like a school. School pays them. They give grants to try and do their research.
Okay.
In the name of science, in the name of developing and trying to improve humanity. But I think that I would agree that they know better than I do.
Okay, let's say.
And I think that.
What are these right here?
So these are images of the stars when you zoom into them, and these are images of the planets when you zoom into them.
All
So,
right, sir, I gotta go to class.
all right, no worries, man.
This
Here,
was-
I'll
this
give you
was
my
good
channel.
talk.
You can
Okay.
check it out. I go to other universities as well.
Yes.
Talk
Nice to
about
meet you.
this.
Nice to
Yeah,
meet
take care,
you.
man. Take care. Yeah, so these are images of the stars. So, do you believe the Earth is a ball? Let me ask you that. This is what Jupiter
It's
is.
always been an interesting question. I think it. Let me hear what you have to say about
So,
it.
yes.
What evidence, what theories, what...
Yes. So the whole globe Earth
'Cause
concept.
that's a big lie then if they lie about that.
I'm glad you see
It's
it
like
that
a lot
way.
of things. And
Yeah.
my thing is I test all things. I choose to have discernment.
Yes.
And of course at the end of the day we have to make a decision.
Yes. You got to be presented with all of the information first,
Exactly.
and then
If you look at something and say, oh no, then how are you going to learn something?
exactly.
You dive into it, then you figure out if it's true or not.
Exactly. You got to use your own
And
discernment.
then what is this picture then?
So these are images of the globe Earth, but these are NASA official images, and they call them images, not photographs.
Do you think the maps are real?
No. So all the maps of the Earth are wrong.
So like a world map, they just fabricate.
So the closest thing, in my opinion, to the Earth, what the Earth looks like. Again, I don't buy into any
So
map,
then when
but this is the closest thing.
When a pilot flies there, how are they navigating?
They're using GPS, so everything's already part of the grid. So when they're flying to like
But wouldn't
Europe,
GPS mean there's a satellite looking
no, it's all ground positioning system.
ground? Oh, that's what GPS means.
GPS.
Ground position.
Yeah.
So what are the satellites? Is there satellites?
So no satellites, they're called satelloons. So they have these machines, so satellites attached to giant helium balloon, and NASA is the #1 buyer in helium. So ironically, so they buy helium balloons and they send them
But
up
is there satellites like they say
in outer
orbiting
space.
around?
No,
There's not.
Nobody's been outside of the Earth. All that, everything that
The
they
moon
think,
landing was not. You don't think the moon?
it's all made up. It's all made up. So it's all there to make people believe that the Earth is a globe. Because physically here, the physics here on Earth.
And why would what advantage does that lie have in whatever?
Right. So I'm not the one lying, so I couldn't tell you 100% why, but I can give you my theory. So I think they're lying to us because it's easier to control someone that's mentally crippled, and they're mentally crippling us when we're very young to accept the globe Earth, because in order to
that's why they build these schools to brainwash people to
yes. So that's what it's all about. It's about controlling us. So they dumb us down to that we're more easily controllable, so that we do what we're told easier, so that people don't stand up against injustice, for example. Exactly. That's literally what I stand for, and this is the one thing that's just.
My thing is, why is this? So, I mean, I understand that you're out here about this, but why would that part be so important in fighting the injustice? So there's a lot of other things that. Where you think solving that problem will make people question a lot of other things.
So here's the thing: in order to be able to stand up to tyranny and to be able to stand up for yourself, you need to have your own discernment. You need to trust your own common sense. If you don't have common sense, then you're going to be easily tricked, swayed, controlled, right? So you need to trust your own common sense and discernment first to be a strong individual, so that then you can stand up against injustices, right? If people believe in the globe Earth concept, that shows me that you're not thinking for yourself. That shows me that you're just putting authority over your own common sense, just like this kid was saying. If we have 100 scientists here, they're going to tell me what the sun is,
I still don't think they quite understand about the moon also, because why would it black out the sun if it's in a luminary? Because if you have a rock that's shine, if you look at any stones and you put light through it, it'll shine.
Sure.
So if you put a stone in front of a light and it blacks out, that means something else is going on.
Fair enough. Yeah. I wouldn't know exactly how the sun moon works, but again, I think they're lying to us it's like a cheap shot on our common sense to believe in the globe Earth. That just shows that you have some kind of allegiance towards the people that run the system, to believe their lie. This is their lie. I didn't come up with this whole globe Earth, bullshit. But if you believe it, you're willing to believe in anything else. So these are demonstrations that I show to debunk gravity. So to debunk gravity, that's a pull. So gravity is not a pull of the Earth. So everybody believes that when I release this into free fall, that this accelerates down to the Earth, right? Everyone believes it. But the fact is, this doesn't move down to the Earth. It's the Earth that's moving up right now. And then when something's not connected to the Earth moves up to meet this.
Say that again?
So when something is not connected to the Earth like this in free fall, it only looks like this moves down towards the Earth, but that's because we're connected to the Earth and the Earth itself and everything.
It's like us floating in an elevator coming up and touching our feet.
Except this is not just floating; it's still moving up, but it's slowing down. So the fact because everything
is it in constant motion then moving up?
Yes, it's a constant motion right now, moving up because I'm holding
it. If it's flat, then it would always be moving up.
Yes, it's always moving.
Always moving up.
It's always moving up, and that's what
so
gravity
is. Is space unlimited?
That's the thing, though, in my opinion. But again, it could be, because in the globe Earth concept, they claim space is infinite. So space could be infinite. I don't deny that. But in my opinion, the Earth doesn't move in a perfectly straight line. So in my opinion, the Earth does have a slight deviation. So it's part of a cycle, in my opinion. So it doesn't just move through space infinitely. And why do I think that? Because you obviously you heard of the high tide and the low tide, right? The oceans, they have a high tide and a low tide. And
isn't it controlled by the moon?
No, that's because you believe in a pulling force of gravity, but everything's a push. All the forces here on Earth are push. So the fact that the Earth is pushing up, that's what levels water out. Because if you have a water bottle like this and you push it this way, the water levels out that way. But if you push it this way, the water levels out that way, perpendicular to the direction of vector. So the fact that the water is leveled out this way, perpendicular to the vertical motion vector, shows that there's an upwards push. Not only that, the tides show that the oceans are deviating. There's a slight tilt. That's why you get a high tide and a low tide at the same time, because there's a tilt with the oceans. That shows that the Earth itself is not moving in a perfectly straight line, because the oceans are constantly reorientating. And that's why the oceans move, in my opinion, because the Earth is not moving in a straight line.
Did you do most of your, sounds like you did most of your research in different areas, or are there specific types of individuals that you listen to?
There's one individual that I listen to right now. He's from Scotland. So, and other than that, I don't really listen to anyone else. I used to listen to some flat earthers, mainstream flat earthers back then. I don't listen to them anymore because they're obviously controlled. So the mainstream
flat
flat
earth, a lot of people mock the flat earthers online.
100%. The flat earth is a psyop, and I'm gonna tell you why. Over 95% of flat earthers, especially online on YouTube and big channels especially, they all claim the Earth is motionless. So they deny the push and pull of the Earth. So they're coming up with their own physics to why objects fall. It's just magic. It's retarded. The whole motionless flat Earth, it's retarded. And the whole flat Earth versus globe Earth, it's a false dichotomy. Just like Democrats versus Republicans, they're both being controlled by the same entity. So they're both being controlled by the same party. You know, so it's just a distraction. This whole motionless flat Earth versus globe Earth. The fact is, the Earth is level because it's pushing up. You know, and level is an orientation relative to the force, which is up. You know, the globe Earth just inverted that. They're claiming the force is down, which is not.
Level.
It's level. Yeah, it's like.
What is it surrounded by?
In my opinion, it's surrounded by something keeping the water in, because the water has to be contained. So I don't claim this, but if Antarctica was real, it would just be a ring holding in the ocean water.
A ring of ice or something?
A ring of ice, if anything. But I think it could be more land. It could be the container itself holding the water. You know, I don't know, because in my opinion, the Earth is being contained somehow physically too, so we can't leave it. I don't know what's outside of it. Nobody knows what's outside. I think what's outside of it is the beings that created it. In my opinion, they're probably right outside of it. You know, I don't know. I have no idea, but it is intriguing to think about what the fuck is really outside of the Earth. If we could even go outside of the Earth, I don't think we could. I think that the governments have found the container, and I don't think they've broken through it. I don't think they could break through it. You know, in my opinion.
Maybe they've been trying and something's been stopping them.
Yeah, maybe. But here's the thing: the deepest we've ever drilled is only 8 miles. So
to the Earth?
To the Earth. That's the deepest we've ever drilled, 8 miles, which is nothing compared, you know. So I think there's limits that we can pass, get past it, you know.
That I disagree.
So that's just the way I see it. You know, our technology here, I think, is not strong enough to be able to break through the reality. Does that make sense? So people claiming that they're going outside of this reality into other environments, you know, other planets and shit, all that's made up. You know, it's literally just stories to back up the globe Earth model. So everything about outer space, pay attention, it's all CGI. It's all cartoons. Nothing about outer space is real.
Well, what about those stars? You know?
The stars, that's as real as they get. You know. So I think the stars are kind of like a rainbow. It's just a visual phenomenon, and people just make up stories about them, and people believe them. And it's kind of weird, but the stars are no different than a rainbow, in my opinion. Because I don't know if you knew this, in the night when you can see the stars. And what?
Do you believe in stories?
Nope.
At all?
When it comes to physical reality, I don't believe any story. So if somebody's making claims about the Earth physically, I don't buy into any story. I want you to show me physically what you're claiming. You know, I need a demonstration. So if people are claiming the Earth has curvature, for example, I want to see you measure that curve.
That's kind of what he was claiming, that there are scientists that demonstrate this thing.
No. So the what he's saying is
you
just...
don't trust them.
So there is a lot of consensus in this scientific community, in the mainstream scientific community, and that's enough to convince people. So because 100 experts said so, now it must be true.
That's like the people who put together the Bible. There was like
a bunch of
people
consensus.
that said these are the ones in the book. They put it together, and then...
I think it's funny how how many, it was like 12 or 13 disciples, right? I think only 12 or 13 people have gone to the moon, supposedly. So it's like another Bible story, pretty much. You have your 12 or 13 disciples that supposedly went to the moon. But they're just stories, you know. So what? Let me ask you this. If you believe the Earth is a globe, which I don't know if you do, but if you do, why do you believe so?
The significance of why this part is so important.
Well, it's because if you believe the Earth is something that it's not, then you're being disconnected from your true self, because you're being disconnected from your true environment. Like you believe the Earth is something that it's not, then you're gonna have a false perception about what you should be doing here, what your purpose is here, and who you truly are. So you're gonna be living someone else's lie, in other words. You're living someone else's idea of a life, which is not real. So we're technically living a lie at the end of the day by believing the globe Earth and believing everything that comes from these people. Because after the globe Earth lie, what comes after that? Well, it comes a way of life.
What else do you think is a lie that they're lying?
Well,
that's important to like.
Well, in my opinion, there's no bigger lie than this, but after this, I would say, I mean, we're being lied to about the economy, for example, like, you know, the value of money, you know, it's not even backed by gold. It's just made up. It's just a belief. So the dollar has value because we just believe it does. And that's what...
That's I understand.
Yeah. So a lot of people, again, they just don't want to think for themselves nowadays. Because I guess people are just too lazy now to think for themselves. You know, so then people lack critical thinking skills nowadays. So people just go with the crowd. So that's how they're controlling us. It's just, you know, through crowd thinking and group thinking, you know. I guess people are too scared to go against the grain. And that's why I'm literally the only one right now, besides the other guy from Scotland, that's advocating for this. That's actually pushing real physics that debunks the globe.
Would you say it's like a disc shape then? Or would you say it's like...
The surface of the Earth is 100% level, but it's obviously mountains, there's valleys, so it's obviously not perfectly straight. It has high points and low points.
There's some significance to the round Earth, because wouldn't it... So then what shape is it?
It's a level plane. So the surface of the part of the Earth that we live on, it's level 100%. It just goes across the way. What it looks like as a whole underneath and how big it is underneath, I have no clue. The Earth could be a square underneath, it could be a cone underneath, it could be a circle underneath, it could just be round. I don't know. I think the Earth is a highly sophisticated machine. And the surface we live on is definitely a horizontal plane with high points and low points. Because we couldn't live on a globe. Why? Because how do people stick to the top and to the bottom at the same time?
They're saying gravity.
That's just a theory that can easily be debunked.
What do you think is inside the Earth?
Well, we only drilled 8 miles. Nobody knows what's inside the Earth.
So then where do they get the idea that there's molten?
It's someone's imagination. Someone smoked some crack and he just came up with all these theories. I'm sorry?
Well, lava.
Lava? Oh, I would say lava is created from high compression. You know, compression creates heat, right? So you have more compression, you have more heat. So I don't know exactly where lava comes from, but it could just come from simply the compression of the Earth the deeper you go down. Because that's one of the reasons why we can't drill past 8 miles, because it gets so hot. The further down you drill, because it becomes more dense. Because the further down you go, the more dense the Earth is, because there's more weight above it pushing it down. That's why their soil on top is very loose, but the further down you dig, the more compact the soil is, because there's more weight above pushing it out.
Explain this one.
So, okay, so this is obviously a ball that's hanging, and when we accelerate it, the ball gets left behind, right? It swings back, right? That's because it's hanging. But with a buoyant object will always get pushed in the same direction as the applied force. So a ball in water will always get pushed in the same direction the water gets pushed as well. That's 100%. That's buoyancy. You've heard of buoyancy, right? So buoyancy is an effect of a force, and buoyancy always moves in the direction of a force. So the fact that buoyant objects get pushed up, that shows that there's a direct correlation with the Earth pushing objects up. Because when something's not connected to the Earth anymore and it's in free fall, that upwards push vanishes. That upwards push is only present when we're physically connected to the Earth. So force is only present when we're connected to the Earth, not in free fall. Even though they claim there is a force in free fall pulling you down, but that's made up. That's where they did the flip. So the Earth is literally moving up like an elevator, kind of, pretty much, but not in a perfectly straight line, obviously, in my opinion. But again, people could believe we are moving in a straight line through infinite space. It doesn't make a difference, you know. That simple fact that the Earth is moving up relative to us debunks the globe Earth. You know.
What about Albert Einstein?
Albert Einstein, to me, it was just a public figure that was pushing the mainstream to push a narrative, just like they do nowadays with other characters, you know. So for certain, it's just the face, you know, in my opinion. He wasn't real, in my opinion. And he was bought out, 100%. Isaac Newton, that's another character, you know. He came up with laws of motion, which, again, there's some assumptions in there as well. It's like they knew that people were going to start talking about the upwards push of the Earth. So they had these laws established already, the laws of motion with Isaac Newton, which are, some of them are, you know, they're assumptions too. Some of those claims are assumptions. So, but again, they did that, in my opinion, because they knew that people were eventually going to start talking about the upwards push of the Earth. So yeah, it's in my opinion, it's the biggest lie on Earth, and it's the most censored because it's the easiest to prove. You know, a child can understand how a globe Earth is physically impossible. You know, the number one proof is the fact that gravity is pushing up. You know, the Earth is pushing up, not pulling it down.
I believe all things are possible.
Do you think humans can fly? Do you think it's possible? If you drink like some kind of potion and then you can fly?
I believe all things are possible.
You think that's possible? I don't think that's. Do you think it's possible to walk through walls?
I believe all things are possible.
Fair enough. I would say in a dream, all things are possible. Like if I'm having a dream in my sleep, then anything is possible. I could fly, I could walk through walls, I could breathe water. Do you think you could breathe water? I don't think we could ever breathe water. We'll drown. Do you accept physics as like a real thing, like cause and effect? Because physics is...
We've been defying the laws of physics, and I believe we can continue to do that.
I don't think we're defying the laws of physics. I think we're discovering new physics that we didn't understand before, if anything. Because physics is what it is. Physics cannot be broken. So a human being could never walk on water. A magician could because he's doing tricks. But in reality, a human can never walk on water. But yet people believe Jesus did, right? Because he's superhuman or whatever. But in reality, humans cannot walk on water. That's a fact. You know, humans cannot walk through walls. Humans cannot breathe water. Humans cannot fly. You know, we have limits. The human body has limits. You know, and that's physics. You know, you could, if you put too much weight on your arm or your bone, it's going to break. There's limits. You know, your bones are not made of infinite strength. You know, the physical world has limits. That's what I'm saying. The physical world has limits.
Conversation.
No, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.